Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We are officially putting the Dark Knight himself right on the psychiatric couch. We're going to completely dismantle everything you thought you knew about the Caped Crusader. So we're stepping away from that traditional superhero narrative you've seen a million times, and instead we're looking at the deeply unsettling clinical realities hiding just beneath the surface of the comic panels. Okay, let's dive into this. What if Batman isn't actually a hero at all, but a massive trauma response? We usually view Bruce Wayne's crusade as this noble, albeit really dark quest for justice. But what if we're not looking at a hero's journey here? What if, instead, we're witnessing a descent into a completely shattered mind? Let's unpack the evidence. Section 1, the engineered tragedy. So, the widely accepted myth is that Thomas and Martha Wayne were killed in a random mugging gone wrong. Just the wrong place at the wrong time. But the evidence actually points to a much darker theory, a targeted hit. In various storylines, the man who pulled the trigger, Joe Chill, has deep, deep connections to Gotham's criminal underworld. Some versions even hint that he was explicitly hired to disrupt the Wayne family fortune, or maybe because Thomas Wayne had made some very dangerous enemies. If this is true, Bruce's war on crime isn't just born of grief, right? It's a vendetta. It's this unpulled thread he's been chasing his entire life. And that leads us directly to Thomas Wayne himself. Bruce might not have invented his dark crusade out of thin air. He likely inherited a dark impulse. Mainline theories and alternate universes, like the famous Flashpoint storyline, suggest Thomas wasn't just some pure philanthropist. He was already moving in a pretty dark direction, with his hands dirty in Gotham's political machinery. The Wayne bloodline might just carry something that, under the right trauma, always results in the exact same violent outcome. And then, of course, there's the city itself. Gotham is not just a backdrop, it is an active engineered system. It's architecturally oppressive, it's economically stratified, and it is politically corrupt to its absolute core. Every single mayor gets compromised. Every institution fails. It honestly makes your local DMV look highly functional by comparison. But the theory suggests this isn't an accident. This system was deliberately designed by old Gotham families, possibly even the Waynes, to maintain control through fear. It literally generates the exact desperate conditions that require a Batman to exist. Batman didn't choose Gotham. Gotham chose Batman. Just let that sink in for a second. The deeply unsettling reality here is that the city is essentially a machine, built to produce the exact nightmare that Bruce Wayne is living. Section 2. The real puppet masters. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. We all know Alfred Pennyworth as the loyal butler, the caretaker, the ultimate father figure. But look closer. Alfred has intense military intelligence training, he has field medic experience, he monitors the comms, maintains the equipment, and actively covers up Bruce's darkest secrets, sometimes even hiding things from the rest of the Justice League. The theory here is that Alfred isn't just helping Batman, he is running him. He manages the entire mission while safely letting Bruce believe he's the one in total control. It brings a whole new, kind of terrifying meaning to the concept of an overprotective parent, doesn't it? Then we absolutely have to look at Bruce's sidekicks. If we adopt a clinical, psychiatric view for a moment, his methodology is incredibly chilling. Identify an orphan, intervene in their tragedy, train the child, rewrite the past. Adopting young boys like Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, or Tim Drake, and sending them out into life-threatening combat isn't about building an army of soldiers. It's a massive, unconscious coping mechanism. It's actually something a lot of us do on a much smaller scale when we try to fix others instead of fixing ourselves. Bruce is repeatedly recreating the night his parents died, but this time, he gets to be the protector who never arrived. Psychologists argue he isn't fighting crime, he's literally just trying to heal his 8-year-old self. Section 3, weaponizing the trauma. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we view his headquarters. The Batcave isn't a practical base of operations. It is a machine for manufacturing the psychological state required to do what Batman does. Think about it. It's a dark, cold, isolated cavern full of bats, the very thing that terrified him as a child. By anchoring himself down there every single night, he is deliberately re-triggering his original childhood wound. Surrounding himself with his absolute deepest fear keeps him angry, it keeps him sharp. Even his costume is weaponized trauma. That high-contrast bat symbol on his chest, it isn't about branding or marketing. Military tacticians who have actually analyzed the suit suggest it's a highly efficient way to draw and redirect enemy bullets toward his heaviest armor and away from his vulnerable head and limbs. He isn't just thinking about how to fight, he's coldly calculating how to get shot at most efficiently. And that intense level of paranoia extends entirely to himself. Talk about a toxic relationship with yourself, right? We know from the famous Tower of Babel storyline that he has contingency plans to take down his friends in the Justice League, but he also has hidden Batcave protocols and Azrael-type successors specifically designed to take himself down. Bruce Wayne knows his own fractured psychology so well that he has literally left strict instructions to shut himself down if he ever crosses the line. He trusts absolutely no one, not even his own mind. Section 4. Mirrors and Moral Leashes. Without Batman, the Joker is just a violent man with bad makeup. This hits the nail on the head. The Joker never actually wants to kill Batman. Every single time he has the chance, something always stops him. Why? Because the Joker's entire chaos philosophy, his very reason for existing, only makes sense in contrast to Batman's absolute order. He is a necessary mirror, constantly testing Batman's moral system. Deep down, they both know they absolutely need each other to exist. Which brings us to his most famous moral code, the no-kill rule. So the crucial point is, this isn't about some moral high ground or a deep belief in the justice system. It is a selfish, psychological leash. Look, we all have boundaries to keep ourselves in check, but Bruce knows that if he kills even once, he won't be able to stop. His rule isn't there to protect the criminals of Gotham. It's there to protect Bruce from crossing a line that would make the war deeply personal, permanently consuming whatever shred of humanity he has left. Let's move to Section 5 and see how this all builds to the core, the shattered mind. This theory is famously supported by legendary writer Frank Miller. The bumbling, stiff, philanthropic billionaire who goes to fancy galas, that's the disguise, that's the performance he wears just to fool society. But when he puts on the cowl, the true identity comes out. As Batman, he becomes fluid, decisive, and fully present. The Batcave is his real home. Wayne Manor is just a stage set he walks through during the day. If we actually look at academic psychiatric analyses of Bruce's actions, like operating nightly in extreme physical danger while strictly refusing lethal force, we see a clinical map. His actions perfectly align with profound PTSD, obsessive compulsion, and extreme survivor's guilt that has essentially become a lifestyle. These aren't just comic book tropes, guys. These are real, documented responses to trauma that many people experience, just dialed up to $1 billion. Batman isn't a hero who happens to be traumatized. He is literally a trauma response that happened to become a hero. And here is where it gets truly dark. Bruce has no retirement plan, and unconsciously ensures the mission never ends. Bruce is actually afraid of winning, because if Gotham were finally fixed, Batman would have no reason to exist. And since Bruce Wayne is just a mask, he has no civilian life to return to. He is never, ever pictured an after. So whether it's unconscious or not, he ensures there's always another villain, always another crisis, just to keep the mission alive. He's a broken person who found a direction for the breaking. This quote highlights the most unsettling theory of the whole bunch. There is no recovery arc coming for Bruce Wayne, because the truth is he actually lost his mind in that dark alley at 8 years old. Everything since that exact moment has been an extraordinarily impressive, highly dangerous, incredibly elaborate way of simply not dealing with that original grief. Which leaves us here. Ask yourself, is there an after, or is the mission all there is? Was Batman always destined to be entirely consumed by his own crusade? It really forces us to wonder if the greatest hero in comic book history is actually just a man trapped in the exact same nightmare since he was a child, doing everything in his power to make sure he never, ever wakes up. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.